All right, I'm going to check out this Marlin model 1894 in 44 Magnum today. This video is made possible today by my buddy Andrew, who loaned us the rifle for the review, so really appreciate that. I'm going to be putting this Blazer aluminum case, because it's all I could find, 240 grain jacketed soft point hollow point through it today. So I'm out here on the rifle range, and currently I have my gong there set center of screen, white gong at 50 yards, but we'll see how far we can walk it out today. I am way better with optics, but I'll see what I can do with the irons on here. Which, by the way, there's your sight system there. That's what the rear blade looks like, and then if I can get it to focus on the front there, there's your rear, there's the front. Obviously you just line it up in the notch there, and it is elevation adjustable. You got that little ramp there, you can slide it up and down. Oh, but as I said, this is a 1894, if this would focus. Micro groove barrel, 44 mag. Production date on this 1979, but she's in great shape, and I look down the barrel and it's like a brand new rifle, so she should shoot pretty good because she's in pristine condition other than a few little cosmetic things with the wood stock. So I'm actually just going to get started on the gong down there at 50. I set this ramp down to the second notch. It was on the fourth one up out of 7, but it looked like it was going to shoot high, so I set it down on the second notch there, so hopefully it'll be on the plate there at 50 yards. Alright, well, looks like I was right on the money down there. Pretty much dead center, and those are 3 shots almost touching, so I'll go ahead and take a few more for you guys here before we go to something else. You know, what's interesting, I'll look up the specs on this ammo because it doesn't list it on the box, but those seem like some pretty light loads there. They take a second to get out there, and the recoil very, very mild. I have shot a Rossi in 44 mag, way more muzzle blast and recoil than what I'm getting here today with these, so these must be a pretty light load. But that thing appears to be quite the tack driver. I know that's only 50 yards, but I mean, I was just putting the bead in the middle and pulling the trigger. I wasn't even trying to be super accurate or anything. And it put all 10 shots right in the middle there. It looks like it's a hair off to the left, but printing's super tight out there. All right, so like I said, I wasn't trying to be super precise or anything. I just put the bead in the middle and pulled the trigger every time. And I mean, that's like 3 inches right there, not even trying at 50 yards. So I'm sure you could at least cut that in half, probably more. All right, so the trigger on this, by the way, has a really good trigger. About a 6-pound pull, I would say. I got an empty shell in here in case he doesn't want me dry firing these classic, but there's absolutely no creep. It's just a nice, very clean, smooth, crisp break. About a 6-pound pull. So the trigger's got this little bit of, like, I don't know, wiggle play in it, but you pull it back to where it sets, and then there's nothing after that. Just a nice, clean, crisp 6-pound break. And there's that empty shell I promised was in there. Alright, so now I'm expecting these bullets at least to drop like a tank. Because like I said, they're taking a minute to get out there to 50 yards before they hit the plate. So they're going to drop like a rock after 50 yards, I would expect. So I'm definitely going to have to move the sights up for this 100-yard shot, because it's definitely going to drop at least a few inches out there. But I wouldn't expect my shots to be too precise now, because that front bead-ish type sight, you know, it's got that round little thing on the post. It's covering 3/4 of my target down there, so I don't imagine I'd be too precise now that it's covering most of the gong down there. Now you can combat that by stepping the sight up even further. That way you can utilize a 6 o'clock hold to where you're aiming under the target and the bullet's going to go a few inches high. I'm probably going to do something of that sort once I get out there further than 100, but for now I should be just fine. I'm going to put it back up on the 4th notch and just put the bead in the middle again, but again it's covering 3/4 of that plate for me, so my accuracy, the group size should already double at 100 yards from roughly 3 inches to 6 inches minimum, because it's twice the distance, but also because I'm not able to see that much of the target because the bead's going to be covering most of it. It's going to affect my accuracy a little bit too. So I'll set you guys back here again for the first 2 or 3 shots, and then I'll get you zoomed in on that plate down there at 100 yards. Alright, we got a malfunction here, but I think it's because I'm running this aluminum stuff. It's not as slick as brass, so one of those isn't wanting to come up and feed, so I gotta clear this real quick. Alright, got the jam cleared. I'm not sure if running the action faster or slower would be better for these aluminum case, but I'm gonna go with faster, so I'll run it faster with more authority, and hopefully we don't have any more hang-ups. So anyways, you should be able to see the 2 shots down there that I already took. Again, it's averaging slightly left for me, but those are centralized there, so we'll send a few more down zoomed in for you guys. The hell, it's doing it to me again. So yeah, it jammed up on me there again, but I forgot my own advice to run it hard and fast, so the next 2 I've made sure to do that and didn't hang up anymore. I could feel them dragging in there, so it doesn't like those aluminum case, but that's to be expected. But other than that, that's a decent group down there. Like I said, that bead's covering up most of the plate down there, so not at all expecting precision or anything, but that's not too terrible given the circumstances. Alright, I'm gonna try this buffalo at 150 here now. So for these shots at 150 yards, I went ahead and set that ramp sight all the way up on the last setting, which was 7 notches up, because I was trying to do a 6 o'clock hold on this, which I did, but the first shot went right under the buffalo, right where I was holding the bead. There it was. So I had to aim a little high because the sight wouldn't go any higher at that point. Alright, I'm going to try 200 here now, but I'm not sure how high over I'm going to have to aim, since that was the highest setting and it was dead on. We'll see what happens out here. I'm gonna have to aim over it, which means I'm not gonna be able to see it at all. So I did start out aiming a little bit high over it into the grass right behind the head there. I heard the first shot hit, so I thought I was good. I wasn't sure where it hit, but it turns out you'll see it hits it right in the head. Then on my second shot, I seen it went high just over the left shoulder. So at that point, I realized I was too high, so I started doing a 6 o'clock hold on that head to get the hits thereafter. Last one went off to the left. That was my fault. They pulled that shot, but it's not as low as I thought. I aimed over the head slightly for that first shot. It looks like I hit the head there. Then I seen the one just barely missed the head, so I started aiming a little lower, and then I pulled that shot to the left. So it looks like I can keep a 6 o'clock hold on that head and still hit that silhouette out there because it's long enough. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to hold 6 o'clock on that head with that ramp all the way up as high as it goes on the 7th setting there. And then try not to pull any more shots left or right. So other than any shots I inevitably pulled, you can see it's, I don't know, that's about an 8-inch group down there at 200 off those iron sights, and you see they're all low left there because obviously I'm having to aim high because it's dropping. And then as I stated in the beginning of the video, it was favoring slightly left, so that's certainly being exacerbated out there at 200 yards. But obviously you can correct that, you can adjust the elevation, windage, whatnot, but I'm not going to mess with it because it's not my gun. Also, different loads might shoot different. You can switch to another load and then it might shoot dead on, you know, instead of slightly left. It just depends on the load sometimes too. But considering I can't really see anything out there, I do need glasses really bad. I could barely see a fuzzy white dot on top of the front sight there, which was the head, holding 6 o'clock on that. And don't forget, that's about some of the cheapest 44 mag ammo you can buy. I think that's pretty good results out there at 200 yards. And I was loading those singly for those 200-yard shots because I didn't want to deal with any of that jamming crap again. And I noticed they're hard just to extract, so lesson learned there. I'm not going to use a aluminum case anymore for lever guns. But like I said, it was the only thing I could find, so. They shoot good though, at least out of this Marlin here. So every once in a while, Andrew loans me something that I really wish I didn't have to give back. And this was definitely one of them. I honestly believe this is probably my favorite so far. I really like these older lever actions. They just don't make them like they used to anymore. And everyone that I've shot from the 60s, 70s, 80s, whatever, they're all super accurate as well. And they all have a great trigger. Some of the more modern ones, the same thing can't be said for them. So this thing was an absolute pleasure to shoot. I'm absolutely in love with it. I'm positive the feed issues was because I was trying to run that aluminum case stuff, so lesson learned there. And yeah, the fact that this is probably my favorite rifle he's ever loaned me, and he's loaned me another lever gun as well. Actually, two others. And previous to meeting Andrew, I had a couple on the channel as well. The fact that it's probably tied for my favorite between this and a old J.C. Higgins 3030 I shot, but I think that tells you all you need to know about it. So huge thanks again to Andrew for letting me borrow it for the review. That said, if you guys want to get yourself one of these shooting bags I used here in the video, steel targets, earmuffs, or more, links in the description for all that. And if you're interested, I actually managed to get a Rossi 92 in 44 Magnum with an even shorter barrel, not only out to 200 yards accurately, but 300 yards as well. Honestly think I got a little lucky at 300. I took 3 or 4 shots. They were all hits, and I called it quits while I was ahead. But I'll put a link in the description to the 200-yard video to that Rossi 92 if you want to see that. And then if you go to that video, there'll be a link in the description of that one if you want to see the 300-yard version. I'll also put a link in the description to the original review video of that J.C. Higgins 3030 that I mentioned if you guys want to check that out. I also did pretty much the same thing with that one, 200 or 300 yards on iron sights, and I actually took that out, being a 30-30. I got that out to 400 yards accurately with a scope on top, but there should be links in the description on that review video for all those if you want to check that out as well. But that's enough self-promoting for now. If you guys made it clear to the end here, especially through all this rambling, I really appreciate you, and I hope to catch you on the next one.